Do you believe a completely broken plastic bar can still be joined back together securely? I am not going to use an ordinary gluing method. With only a few simple items, we will use a method that very few people think about. Watch every step carefully, because missing even one small detail can make the joint less secure than expected. First, I remove the broken plastic section from the assembly so it is easier to work on. Use a screwdriver to pry up the plastic section on top. Remove the screws, then lift off the cover. The break is now clearly visible. The two pieces have separated completely. But before reinforcing anything, the broken edges need to return to their correct position. Align the two pieces carefully, then apply just enough super glue to hold them temporarily. At this point, the glue only keeps the broken sections from shifting. It is not the main load-bearing part of the repair. From the outside, the plastic bar already looks joined again, but there is still nothing inside that truly reinforces the break. So I need to add metal pieces that will run across the joint. From the screw tray, I choose several suitable screws, then use pliers to break off the heads and keep only the straight metal shafts. These pieces will become reinforcement pins hidden inside the plastic. To put them in the correct position, the next challenge is softening the plastic just enough. Hold the screw shaft with needle nose pliers and heat it gradually. Once it is hot enough, place it across the break line and press it down slowly. The plastic around the pin stiffens and wraps around the metal. After it cools, the pin will stay hidden inside instead of simply sitting on the surface. The first pin is in the right position, but I'm still not comfortable. It feels fairly solid at first, but one reinforcement point only supports a small area. So I place additional pins along the joint line. After pressing each one and use a screwdriver to smooth the softened plastic back around the metal. This step is easy to overdo. Holding the heat in one place too long can deform the plastic, so each area is treated briefly and then checked again. After several pins, the joint already feels very different. The two sections are no longer depending only on the glue. While I continue reinforcing the remaining areas, tell me what country you are watching from. If you also prefer repairing things instead of throwing them away, share how you normally deal with a broken plastic item like this. Your experience might give me a new idea. Once the entire brake line is supported with several pins, I feel more confident about the connection. But a new problem appears. The heat has pushed the plastic around the joint upward, leaving the repaired area rough and uneven. The joint may be stronger, but if I stop here, the repair will still be obvious. Use a utility knife to trim away the largest raised pieces of plastic, then gradually scrape off the thinner layers that remain. I do not try to make everything completely flat with the knife. If I rush, the blade can easily cut too deeply into the good plastic. After a few passes, the surface looks cleaner, but there are still noticeable high and low spots. To control the surface more precisely, I need another tool. A small piece of P240 sandpaper is wrapped around the end of a round wooden stick and secured with super glue. Once the glue holds firmly, the stick is mounted in a cordless drill to create a small sanding tool. The repair area is long and narrow, so the round shape helps the sandpaper stay focused directly on the joint instead of grinding too far into the surrounding good plastic. Run the drill at a moderate speed and sand in short passes, stopping often to inspect the surface. The surface gradually lowers into a shallow groove. At this point, it actually looks worse than it did before. But that shallow groove creates room for the finishing material in the next step. Once the depth is sufficient, wipe away the sanding dust and small plastic particles. The inside is reinforced, while the top now has a deliberate groove. If I want the brake line to disappear, this empty space needs to be filled again. Take enough body filler, add a small amount of hardener, then mix everything thoroughly. After the hardener is added, the working time becomes shorter, so I only prepare as much as I need. If the mixture thickens too early, it will be harder to spread smoothly. Once the color and consistency become uniform, the filler is ready. Press the filler into the recessed area, covering the entire joint and leaving a thin extra layer above the surface. There is no need to make it perfectly flat while it is still soft. Working it back and forth too much can pull the filler out of the groove. A little excess is fine because once it hardens, it can be corrected with sandpaper. At this stage, the joint looks fairly rough, but the final shape will only appear after the filler has hardened. Once the surface is dry, use P240 to sand the raised filler down until it is almost level with the surrounding plastic. After several passes, the brake line becomes harder to notice. This is where I start to feel that the effort is paying off. But the scratches left by P240 are still fairly obvious. If I paint it now, those marks may show through the finish. So I switch to P800 and wet sand the entire repaired area. P240 shapes the repair, while P800 smooths the remaining scratches and helps the repaired section blend more naturally into the original plastic. This is the stage I enjoy the most. Each pass only changes the surface a little, but the feeling of a rough patch gradually disappears. Sand one section at a time and check the surface by hand so you don't go too deep. Once the surface is smooth enough, use a soft cloth to wipe away the water and plastic dust. The shape has almost returned to the original form, but the color still makes the repaired area stand out. Apply a coat of white paint first to create a base. Once it dries, apply black paint over it to bring the plastic bar back to its original color. At this point, I'm fairly happy with the appearance, but a joint that looks almost new can still fail when it takes an impact. So I'm not calling this a success yet. The plastic bar needs to go back into its original position and pass one final test. Reinstall the plastic bar and tighten all the screws. To test it, I use a screwdriver to tap repeatedly around the repaired area. After those impacts, the plastic bar still holds its shape and the joint does not separate. Only now do I feel truly confident about the repair. Thank you for watching until the end, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel.